My name is Mark Keogh, and I'm the Secretary of the Rescue the River Shannon Group, who are a group of ordinary people that comprise of fishermen, farmers, reed cutters, mothers and fathers. We were initially set up to share and highlight the concerns that we had for our local environment. As the months went on and our concerns grew, we learned more and more about what really is going on in this county. We went from being concerned to being very aware that there are severe and potentially dangerous problems, some of which have already resulted in the total destruction of certain areas. Yet the local and national governments seem to be hell-bent on just adding more. So why is the question that we're asking tonight. I grew up seeing the destruction of an entire community happening around me. Dozens of farmers losing animals by the hundreds. Parents were fearing for their children's health, and sadly some of those parents found that their fears became reality. Many people, including a large majority of you all here, I would imagine may probably have never heard about what happened in Keogh. I'll just finish up with this. We've made this film because it had to be made. As a 14 or 15-year-old boy looking out of my bedroom window, and a plume of black smoke going off in the distance as Ahenish was blowing out one of its boilers to atmosphere, I was watching my entire neighbourhood suffer, and everything else was being covered up and remained unanswered. And I thought to myself, why is nobody doing anything about this? Little did I know then that 28 years later that I, and many others present here tonight, they all know who they are, would be trying to do something about it. The Gurtland Drummy incinerator and Irish cement and Mungard are only going to be escalating to already existing problems in this area. They are going to become your children's Ahenish if they go ahead. The old saying, your health is your wealth, has nowadays become their wealth is your health. That is why we have made this film for you all to watch. And to cap it off, I personally consider that Limerick County Council are going to make thousands of people hostages in their own homes, afraid of what is in the very air that they breathe because of the council's ambitions, their non-professionalism, and perhaps their greed. Thank you very much. I put my neck on the line here. Our local CEO of Limerick County Council, in 2005, he was one of the co-writers of the Southeast Waste Management Plan when they were trying to ram an incinerator into Waterford. He then moved on to County Louth, where whilst he was the chairman of the Louth County Council, he accepted to take the hazardous ash from Indover in County Meath and put it into a landfill in County Laois, in County Louth. Then he comes to Limerick, and all of a sudden we have not one, but two incinerators being planned for this area on each side of the county. So 2/3 of the county councillors can stand up and get rid of this person. Are there any councillors here tonight? In 2019, they'll be coming on your doors and they'll be looking for votes. So just remember this night, and this is all I can do for you. I grew up in a community that absolutely got destroyed by these people, because at the end of the day, I'm not willing to line their wallets with my children's lungs. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. My name is Nuala. My husband Pat was in the film. On behalf of my family who are here tonight and the Cappagh Farmers Support Group, our group at Cappagh, we'd like to thank Mark and Nate for doing such a wonderful film tonight.
Hey.
I'd also like to thank Billy McGuire, Pat Cullan, and more so Margaret Murphy for coming out and helping and being part, as this man here just said, of the film. Pat, my husband and myself have been doing this since 1996. We were 19 days into a 2-year investigation with the Department of Agriculture regarding our animals. That was our inspiration. They tried, within those 19 days, after just seeing our animals for those 19 days, they decided we were very bad farmers and we were horrible to our animals. So we turned around, and that was where we started the fight. Then it transgressed onto 1998 when my eldest daughter here, Amanda, was badly affected by a very bad fallout of pollution, and to this day those effects are still ongoing in her. And then my other daughter, Megan, they have been our inspiration, they continue to be our inspiration. We have gone all over Ireland, when we hear about problems like fracking, this man mentioned fracking, we've gone up there and we've told them the pitfalls, because there is awful pitfalls, because the EPA, Department of Culture, the governments, they don't do anything for you. They be the way you think they do, but they don't. They don't. They do nothing for you. They do nothing for your family. They don't care about your children, your grandchildren. They don't care about your cat, your dog, your cow. They don't care. They just care about jobs. Now, we're not against jobs. Don't get us wrong. We're not against jobs. We just want jobs and the pollution from these maybe jobs to be monitored. As Dr. Paul Connacht has said, Limerick is already very badly polluted. We don't need more into it. There's a gasification plant is supposed to come. There's an incinerator coming here into Limerick. Like, as Claire said in her piece on the film, like, they live within a few hundred yards from it. You have a new school going up just across from it. You have a lovely playground right near it already. Like, this company is already polluting the area. You don't need tyres and everything else that could go into this incinerator more to be coming out the chimneys. You're all getting it from Ahanish, you've been getting it for years, you're going to continue to get it. Even if Ahanish closed down tomorrow morning, they're going to leave the 450 acres of mud, of waste, toxic waste there, and it's going to continue to blow. The EPA are supposed to be having a bond there. The government are quite happy with this little, what is it? 14 million. 14 million wouldn't pay one guy to do an assessment of where to begin, where to end. But 14 million is all that's there. Harbolin took 10 million, and it's not even going to stop in Harbolin. Harbolin is only a dot in the map. Like, this is the EPA, this is the government, this is what's going on in this country. They just don't care. As Mark said, it's just jobs. Jobs.
It's business.
It's business. Yeah.
We are all collateral damage.
Yeah. And they don't care how you die, they don't care what you breathe in, they just don't care. Margaret lost her son Stuart. I knew Stuart. Megan, my youngest daughter, went to school with Stuart. Like, there's a lot more cancers in Cappagh that I could talk about and the surrounding area, like. And it took Margaret great courage to come out and talk. And they'll always feel the effects of it. Margaret spoke there about wanting to get out, but she's not financially able to get out. We had to get out because my husband Pat got a heart attack when he was very young in 2009 after a very bad fallout of pollution from Antkin. I'll say it here, we have proof. Like, if I should have been arrested when we sent off his blood samples for testing afterwards of what was in his blood. And like, we got out, we got our two daughters out. Doesn't mean that our health has improved because we're so long in it. We didn't realise what an impact and what a negative effect it will always have on us. My grandson, he's only one since yesterday, so I'm proud granny. But Amanda would love to go and live on the farm over, but she can't. I wouldn't allow her next to me, or I wouldn't allow Dylan, my grandson, to be anywhere. So there's a farm there. I have a few cattle on it, but we had to change. We stopped milking because we knew what was going into our milk. And we couldn't, on all good conscience, sell that milk into the food chain for everyone to.
Congratulations to everybody involved in the film tonight. I just wanted to say a couple of things. My family, going back 5-6 generations, has lived in Mungret. My Granddad worked on the construction of the cement factory, and both he and my dad worked there all through their lives until my dad needed to retire early. His health had been destroyed in the factory. They lived 2 fields away from the quarry, and there were 9 in the family. There was a large garden at the back, and that's essentially where they got their food. The first to die of the 9 was my Uncle Frank. He was 31, that was leukemia. Of the 9, there were 5 cancers, 2 esophageal cancers, 1 leukemia, and 1 lung cancer. As we've started to get more active with LAP, we're finding similar stories like this of cancer clusters in Turbu, in Ballybrown, in Clorina. And I guess it's similar to what I'd heard down through the years, that there were problems in Askeaton, there were problems in Foynes. but people weren't joining the dots. Not everybody knew that these problems existed. And I think what's starting to happen through groups like this and through films like this is that people are starting to wake up, and they are starting to join the dots. And the dots are exactly as that lady described, nationwide. People may not be aware, but the toxins from Money Point go into the fly ash at the bottom of the incinerator. What they may not realize is the fly ash is trucked from Money Point to Mungret, and the fly ash is added to the cement. So not only are the workers exposed to it in the Mungret factory, construction workers are exposed to it, and anybody who lives in a concrete building built with that cement is exposed to the toxins. Just a personal comment. For years I worked in Germany and in England, and part of that had me driving up and down autobahns and motorways. And just like in Ireland, there are mass concrete barriers between the lanes on the motorways and on the autobahns. It's interesting. Everywhere else in Europe, these pieces of mass concrete are grey. Concrete is grey. I always thought that. Well, head out by the parkway sometime and take a look at that partially constructed shopping centre. That's lumps of mass concrete and steel. It's never been built. But I drove past it the other day, and guess what? It's red, the same colour as the mud in Ahanish. That pattern started to happen. I can recall my granddad pointing it out to me 30 odd years ago, and at the time the speculation was it's mold or it's coming out through Santex or whatever. That's why we're getting this finish on Pebble Dash. That doesn't happen in mass concrete. It actually comes out through it. The same thing struck me last week. I was driving to Dublin. Just look out, all the way to Portlaoise. What would be grey if it was in England or Germany is red in Ireland. Now, have I done a scientific study? No. Have I gone off and scraped this stuff off the side of the concrete? No, I haven't. But am I suspicious? Well, can somebody help me understand why it's red in Ireland and it isn't red anywhere else? And I think this is an example of where the things that are happening are joined up across the estuary. The risks, the consequences, the decision making, the lack of governance, the fact that we can't trust the EPA, the fact that we can't trust the HSE to actually track down the data, or as Pat has found out, to even investigate the things that are happening with his family. And I think without saying any more, there's a need for us, having seen this, to help the people who aren't here understand that we're under threat. We're under threat unless we take action. The dots need to be joined up. The pressure needs to be kept on. Our bureaucrats can't be trusted. Our institutions can't be trusted, unfortunately. And one of the common threads for us here in Limerick is the chap who happens to be the city manager, the county manager. Because we see his fingerprints on disasters in Waterford, his fingerprints on disasters in Louth, and now his fingerprints on disasters here with the planning approval for Irish Cement. It may be unfair to personalize this, it may be unfair to pick on just one guy, but the flip side is we've got kids, we've got grandkids, we've got evidence. We need to start getting pissed off, and we need to start helping others to get pissed off.
Hey.